It's always a lot of pressure when you are being put in a new position or when you accept a new role. And with time to market being of the essence, I'm not going to put any more pressure on you, Daniel, but please, I'd like you all to give a big applause to Daniel Bravo, who's going to be in the Fireside chat together with Andy Walton-Spiel today, and they're going to chat about Deutsche Telekom.
Webcam looks a bit like the device from Man in Black. So if you look in the light, nothing will happen, okay? So welcome to the Fireside Chat with Daniel Bravo. Daniel, hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Muy bien. So we do it not in Spanish today. So Daniel has joined from the dark side. That was the joke I made recently in one internal event. You've been driving TV in Telefonica for many years. Now I thought you need new challenges, move to Germany, learn German, and manage a zoo.
Yeah, learning German is something that it will take time, but I am on it.
Yeah, so please introduce yourself and a bit about Deutsche Telekom as well, so to give context to the audience.
So I am Daniel Bravo. I just joined to Deutsche Telekom a few weeks ago. In fact, this is my 8th week in the company. I am in the position of the head of TV product for our European segment. All my professional career it has been in the telco side, as you said, in the dark side with Telefonica, where I have held different responsibilities, always in TV, and sometimes during my professional career with other digital services like IoT, cloud, etc. Most of my position has been around the technology, from product development, engineering, and even operations. Well, now it's starting in DT with a really challenging and exciting project in front of me.
Great. So I said you're managing a zoo. I said that because you have quite a few countries, quite a few different technologies, offerings. So quick overview, how big is Deutsche Telekom in Europe? How many countries? Some statistics on subscribers.
Well, I think most of you know Deutsche Telekom. Deutsche Telekom is one of the biggest telco worldwide. In the case of Europe, we are the leading telco in Europe. Speaking about TV, we operate TV in many countries in Central and Eastern Europe. We have more than 8 million customers. And as you said, we have different technologies and different approach in every of our NatCos. We have, in some NatCos, we have IPTV, in others we have cable, and even in others we have DTH services. So, like you said, it's a zoo, okay? Now we are addressing a big transformation in the TV side, because DT has taken the decision to create a single product for all of our NatCos. Not only the product, I mean, this will imply also all the technology behind that product. And we are executing that transformation. We already have 2 NatCos in the new TV ecosystem, and more are coming in the coming months.
Okay. Pedro Bandera, who you're working with, recently said DT is moving full speed to OTT. Not multicast, not ABR, not broadcast. So can you tell us more, when is that going to happen? And maybe also, why are you going there?
Yeah. Yes, well, I have to say that I agree with Pedro, because I don't want to lose my job so fast. A part of the joke. Yes, we think that the OTT technology is the technology for the future. Why? First, because if you see the amount of investment in research or development that are doing the big streaming company like Netflix, Amazon, etc., is everything in OTT. So in streaming technology, we will have a lot of innovation. And on the other hand, the OTT technology simplify all the technology stack that we need to use in our devices, and at the end, it will imply less time to market for us.
Okay.
So when are we going to do that? Now, we are doing right now. We are, as I said, we have created a new TV ecosystem with a single product for all our NatCos. And now we are in the process. Until now we have a lot of capacity, let's say, in the traditional broadcast space, multicast, cable, DTH. We have some capacity in OTT. So now we need to create increase the capacity in the streaming side. At the same time, we are moving customer to the new ecosystem. But create capacity is something that for the telco is usual. So
peanuts.
Yeah.
Good. So in this whole journey, how important are devices? We just heard the UX is key.
Yeah.
Let's talk about which devices. And before we go there, let's talk about set-top boxes. And I want to hear from the audience. Please raise your hand. Who thinks the set-top box is dead? Raise your hand. Only one. Okay. Who thinks it's walking dead? Okay. Who thinks it's going to be there for the next foreseeable future? Okay. Same. Okay. So let's talk about set-top boxes. Is it just the pain of procurement and all the huge capex you have to spend, or is it the key control point you need to have?
Okay. Well, it's probably also both things that you said, but from our point of view, set-top box is key, key pieces in our strategy. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we think that the set-top box is until now the only way that the telco operator has to deliver to the customer the full experience that we are designing, mm-hmm. Doing a perfect marriage between hardware and software. And well, we are doing that, and I think that it will happen for the coming years. We will love not to do set-top box, but for doing that, we will need to be able to implement our full experience in other type of devices. And today, this is not a reality. You can do some things in one environment, other things in other, but always there are some kind of restriction. No?
You could do something like Sky Glass.
Yes, it could be a possibility.
So it's something, if you can share, is that something you're looking at, a TV with your own UI that you drive?
Yeah, I mean,
the zero click that we just heard?
I mean, this is an interesting proposal, what the Sky is doing. We are tracking this possibility, and at the moment we see it makes sense for some of our market. Obviously, we will do it. Mm-hmm. But Sky is doing this in the same market that Roku is doing the same, Amazon is doing the same. In our market, it's not happening right now, but as I said, we are tracking it, and at the moment makes sense, we will do it.
Okay, be open. Okay, let's talk about UI, UX, and you have decided to go for Android TV. It's public. You're not going the ODK route. You're not doing a homegrown solution like I think you did somewhere in the past on the dark side. So why go Android? What's the pros and the cons without upsetting the Googlers in the room, if there are any? Tell us about the Android TV journey. Why did you go that route?
Okay. Well, I think we need to think in a trade-off between control in our user experience, but on the other hand, we need to scale. Why we need to scale? Because with all the shift of the content from direct-to-consumer application, at the end for us it's very important to aggregate these apps in our devices. No? So Android TV for us is the answer to having the scale and to have all the apps that we need for our customer, the scale for having good prices in the devices, but also the possibility to implement our full experience and have control of the user experience of the customers. Mm-hmm.
So devices are key control point, but they have a lot of capex. And now I've been in procurement for Sky before it was Sky before. My incentive was bring down the price, right? Yeah. So if my incentive is only that, I will bring you a reverse auction this year, another one next year, and then you have to manage 3 different platforms.
Yeah.
So is that a thinking you have to look at it longer term, more holistically, and take in the cost of managing the stuff, upgrading it, chipset, driver updates, all that? Is that happening? And again, a quote from Pedro. He said, I think the industry has potentially underinvested in CPE.
Yeah.
So is there a change happening?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's always an internal, in any telco, it's always an internal fight between technical guys, purchase department. But what is clear is the experience of the customer is directly connected with the capacity of the hardware that you put in their houses. And this applies not only to set-top box, even in broadband side. For many years, people thought that, okay, the telco operator will sell X megabytes in the fiber or X megabytes in the XDSL, but to be honest, we were selling Wi-Fi. And for having Wi-Fi, you need to put the best devices, no? So this applies broadband, set-top box. So yes, I think we need to have more powerful devices. Obviously, to control this life cycle of the set-top box, because at the end, the set-top box is something that you put in the house of your customer, and it will be there for 5-6 years. And you need to control the number of providers that you have, because in other words, it will be a zoo in terms of life cycle management. No?
Okay. So you talked about aggregation. So you're definitely following a super aggregation strategy. What kind of content, apart from just TV, are you aggregating? You mentioned the SVOD players. What else is there? Is there gaming? Is there music? Is there what else?
Well, you know, we are looking different possibilities. Unfortunately, I don't have any announced to do here. But currently in some networks we are doing music, like in Germany. But okay, in the future we will do eventually more things.
Okay, so anything that is content could potentially be aggregated.
Yes.
Okay, so many of the big telcos said we want to become super aggregators with a variety of contents inside. Now, if everybody becomes a super aggregator, how can you still differentiate? What is the thing you as Deutsche Telekom will try to implement or have implemented where you think this is my differentiator?
Yeah, okay, I think this is a good question. Let me speak about what are basic things that we need to do, and on top of that, how we can differentiate. No? The basic thing that we have to do, to be honest, every time the bar is higher. I mean, in a pay TV, you have to have live TV, VOD, cloud PVR. Even you need to do some kind of aggregation, okay? Yep. But on top of that, in order to be differentiated, you need to do the things very well. I mean, in terms of super aggregation, you need to deliver to the customer a smooth user experience across all the touch points that you have. You need to do many things that we have heard this day here, like an excellent user customer journey for discovery, implement different touch points like the voice, many things, okay? I think on top of that, it will be not enough. We need to move forward as an industry in a deeper integration with the direct-to-consumer application. I am thinking in things like, for example, synchronized profiling, single sign-on, and well, recommendation between the pay TV environment and the direct-to-consumer environment, and this kind of thing. No? And on top of that, I think we also are looking different ways of differentiation in two areas. No? One, we are looking in different new services, leveraging in new possibility of the hardware of the set-top box, for example. I am thinking in cameras, multi-sensor, far-field microphone. There we can have applications like high-quality video conference, shopping, well, many things. And also we are working with our content providers to enrich the experience of the content when the customers are watching. I am thinking in things like companion devices with statistics, well, many things.
Okay. On the search and recommendation, that was a topic that we heard several times here in the last 2 days. Technically, I think not a challenge, right? You get the data, you integrate it, you make it searchable, you do your magic, and you have the recommendation. Are your content providers willing to give you the data, or are you big enough to wrestle with them so they allow deep integration? Because often they don't want that. So are you having the same incentives here?
Well, I think for having all these recommendations, search, etc., it's key to have a metadata. And this is a part of the ecosystem that we want to control. Well, we are in negotiation with our partner, but also we can have the information from other sides. So we will have the best metadata because we think it's key for the experience of the customers.
Okay. So, please already think about a few questions. We have 5 minutes, but I have my final questions that I always love. And I asked you the question already in an interview when you were still at Telefonica, and is, I give you $100 million.
Okay.
What do you do with it? No bikes and boats.
Take the money and run?
No.
No?
For Deutsche Telekom, not Telefonica.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I think at the end, if you think about it, our business in terms of TV is the same as the business that we have 10 years ago. At the end, we aggregate content and we deliver to the customer in a smooth experience in an aggregate way. No? So basically, we need content, and we need content in different ways. We need to have the best live TV channel, VOD. We need to have the best partnership and, in terms of direct-to-consumer. But also, we need to keep investing in sport rights, direct events, and why not, if the market has the enough size, to complement our content proposal with our own production. Things that, for example, DT is doing in some of our NatCo, like Greece. So for me, content is one important point. A second important point is network, because at the end, our customer trust in us to manage all the digital life in our connectivity, and we need to keep investing to having the best network and the best platform. And third, I would say innovation around user experience, to look into this kind of thing that I said before, how to add new ways of enjoy the content that we deliver to the customers.
So in the end, Deutsche Telekom becomes a trusted provider. You mentioned just the word trust. I think that's key. And it pays into your brand and how customers see you, and then in the end, they stay and don't churn. So we have a few minutes time for questions. So please raise your hand. We have microphones, so if anybody has a question, let me see. John has one.
Yeah, hi Daniel. So in those 2 NatCos where you've already started this progression towards OTT, is just adaptive bitrate streaming into the set-top boxes there, is it? No multicast?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So in those 2 NatCos where you've already begun your new single platform, is it adaptive bitrate streaming only into those set-top boxes rather than multicast now? Yes,
well, it's a mix. Our end picture is OTT, streaming technology, but I said at the same time we are increasing the capacity in our CDN, depending on the NatCos or the size of the NatCos. We are doing also some kind of set-top box that can still leverage in the current capacity of broadcast that we have in some network. So it's a mix. We have NatCos that we will be from the beginning 100% streaming. We will have other that the set-top box have a dual player and can manage some channels in streaming and some channels coming for the legacy world. But the end goal is to have everything in streaming.
Other questions? Anyone? So, one more from John.
So the full transition for the whole of Deutsche Telekom in Europe to all streaming, what do you think that's going to take in time? 10 years or 5 years?
No, I think it will be really faster than that.
Faster?
Yeah.
Really? For everything? Oh, okay.
So then maybe I have a last one.
Okay.
So a few telcos have said they're becoming a tech co.
Yeah.
Means you're doing a lot of stuff in-house, becoming more virtually integrated. Is that true also for Deutsche Telekom? What's your plan?
Yeah. Well, all the telcos in the last year has changed from, let's say, traditional telco company to a software company that sell telecommunication services, okay? That means that the telco is digital or will not be. So this transition is obviously, Deutsche Telekom is already a digital company, and this also applies to video, no? So how are we doing this in video? Well, we are doing a mix. I mean, we need to manage this trade-off between the control, that it means being your own system integrator, develop many things, and the scale that it means having a commercial solution, no? or commercial building blocks. So we are doing, let's say, a best-of-breed approach where we have some component that we take from the industry, but that pieces of the ecosystem that we think that are more connected with the user experience and add more value to the customer are the first one that we are doing in-house.
Makes a lot of sense. On-time landing, very German. So thank you, audience. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
It was great to speak
for
with
having
you.
me. Thank you.